Brandon Doherty, Delaware Weather Guy, bringing you your Delaware Weather Guy Weather Weeklies for the week of January 11th, 2021. So we have survived the first week of January, and overall it was a pretty fairly mild pattern. It wasn't super warm, but it wasn't super cold. So we had we were right there in the middle. But it was a little damp and dry, like one of those kinds of colds that kind of go through your bones, and you kind of feel it. So we are entering. We're getting close to the middle of the month, and interestingly enough, we haven't had a whole lot of wintry weather to talk about. It's been seasonable cold, nothing outrageous, Arctic wise. It hasn't been, and it hasn't been, let's just say, super warm, like 70 degrees. So we've counteracted that balance with the fact that it is not it is not as balmy as it has been sometimes in other winters. No snow, not yet, and so far January has not been super cold or super snowy. That is about to change, friends. That is about to change. Winter is coming back. Winter is coming back. And it could come back in a big way. So just to review, last week pretty much went as planned. Calm, no major winter systems, and looks seasonable, temperature-wise, and dry. So I have to say, I have to check off that as that is exactly what happened. The 11th through the 18th this week, relatively cold and dry. I mean, daytime temperatures in the low 40s and nighttime temperatures low 30s, low to mid 20s some nights. So we need to get that's kind of like the beginning of what's coming. And there are some chances of light showers or snow showers. Oh, that's pretty bad spelling there. Showers. Showers. Later in the week. I mean, it could be just kind of like a sporadic scattered thing. It's not going to be a widespread rain. Okay. Then as we get into the thick of January, looking much more active and a bit more wintry and white. Temperatures are going to crash big time, very cold. But the question is stormy. Storm signals for January 18th, 19th, and or January 24th, and we're going to be taking a look more into that. So let's kind of go into that so we can move on here. Okay. This is you kind of have to take this with a grain of salt, but this is snow projected snow across the continental United States, and again, take it with a grain of salt. But a couple of highlights. Look at Texas, northern Texas. I'm serious, folks. This today and tomorrow. I mean, Dallas, Fort Worth are supposed to get over 1 to 3 inches of snow, maybe possibly even more. I mean, we have projections here of 8 inches. I doubt that is going to be the case. Because remember, this is a reflection of every single flake landing as snow. I mean, and accumulating. That just doesn't happen. So, cut these totals in half, and you have like maybe 3 or 4 in Dallas, or kind of towards eastern Texas and towards Fort Worth. In the West, you have temperatures, snowfalls in the mid threes and fours. So, just kind of crazy. Texas has had a lot of winter so far. And then your usual, western snows. Let's just take a little closer look at the east. We go. We go to the tape. Let's see. Oh, geez, that's great. And go to the regions. Go to the northeast. So this is what they're saying snowfall is looking for our neck of the woods. Of course, inland, they're talking a lot more snow than the coast. That's because most of the snows have taken a sort of an inland hugging the coast path, which really cuts down on totals on the eastern seaboard, unless it's frigidly cold. But like I said, that's about to change. So I don't know why every time I do bring up my pen case, it throws it to the the rightest most upper right corner it could possibly go. All right, so you can see here that it's a very thin line between who's getting what, and looks like the I-95 corridor again is the cutoff line here. But as you can see, totals in central PA and western Maryland are off the charts, kind of thing. So they always get their winner, so we're not really too upset for them. And upstate New York, that goes without saying. But even like Buffalo, areas of Buffalo, Rochester, Seneca, Syracuse, kind of on the light end of snow totals so far this winter. Northern Ohio, Cleveland, they haven't had a bunch. Usually they get a lot of lake effect, but that may come later too. So that's still up. That's still up for debate. Most of the area that I'm kind of impressively has been Western PA, Northwestern PA, and like Southwestern PA, this area, because Pittsburgh is always in a tight area where, even though they have elevation on their side, they get kind of warm. The temperatures get kind of warm, and the storms have to come in. The best storms for the central interior like that are ones that just kind of cut up the coast. They come inland and go up the coast. The coastal ones, they tend not. There's less snow back in this region, and more of the snows tend to stay, more in the mountains or Pocono region. So they're getting plenty of precipitation and the falling of snow. But again, this is all projections. It's not gospel. So what does the next few days look like, and what does the next up through what I was telling you about? Now, of course, this is the 18Z run of the GFS today. And so here's Monday, kind of cool seasonal high pressure to our southwest. A little disturbance, a little wave. I mean, this is really nothing. I doubt it even reaches us, and I doubt it dissolves as it comes closer towards the coast because the air is so dry. Then we have another system that comes from our northwest. This one has been projected as kind of different ways, as rain on the front end to snow on the back end, but the snow doesn't reach as far south. And then you have lake effect, which could enhance the 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 front coming down from Canada, which usually 9 times out of 10 they don't really bring any significant snows anyway, but it could be a rain change to snow on the back end, like kind of a cheap thrill kind of thing. And then we get into the 18th, and here's our storm signal. Now, this would be we cannot take anything for gospel for this, but this has been modeled several different ways. What I look for are the trends. Okay, so the trend is telling me, yeah, there's something out there that could be significant, but it could, if it's modeled the way it's presently, if it is modeled presently the way it is, then we probably won't get much. So it takes a low pressure up west of the Appalachians, but then it transfers to another low. But that transfer takes place and then it rides inland up the coast, which would predominantly bring us, too much warm air. And so you would have rain pretty much from Boston on down the 95, and you would have plenty of snow inland. Now, so, and let me take this through. And it could be a case where there is so much upward movement that it goes from since there's cold air coming in, and with it could, change over to snow during the event. So you're just going to have to wait, but that definitely does look like a storm signal for us for the 25th. So that's why I put it in. And then we have another wave coming in later around that time. But one of the more, and I said the cold would be coming in as well. Let's get up that. And let me go back to the beginning. Okay, so let's see. So this takes us, you can see how the blues, the dark blues, but we'll look at this kind of purplish section that's right now just contained up in Canada. But then as we get to the latter part of the month, watch this. Watch up in the northern area in northern Canada how this thing comes down, and you can kind of see that coming. I mean, this is Wednesday the 20th, the Wednesday morning. I mean, temperatures are in the teens. Okay, and then I mean, look at New York State, New England. They're icebergs. This is the 22nd. All I can say is if we do get a system that comes in during this time, now the temperatures look to retreat, towards the 25th, but not much. So we really got to watch out for that. The cold will definitely be here, but it's, again, how consistent is it cold that comes in and out, or is it cold that is sustained or retreats? Well, we just have to wait. Unfortunately, just have to wait. But it's coming. So the last thing I wanted to go over was the stratospheric warming events that have been going on, and the reason why. You know, sometimes this is made a big deal of, and nothing really ever occurs. So first, I got to explain what is it. Okay, so the stratospheric winds, the polar vortex, essentially, this is the polar vortex. So let me get my bearings here. Okay, so this is Greenland, right? So we have these circular. Oh, great! These circular winds that crisscross the poles and the globe, and they just go in a like a, just a constant circle direction, right? So what this is looking like, and just wait for the I'm going to start putting it in motion. You can see this high latitude block around Greenland. This is good. But again, if this is too strong, this kind of suppresses systems and keeps them um, uh, due south, keeps them far to this. It starts suppressing, uh, the weather systems coming up the coast. So let me spin this ahead now. You can see how it's circulating, circulating, circulating. Now watch the western Pacific Northwestern area near Alaska. And that that stratospheric warming is breaking down, and it's what it's doing is it's ejecting. I should have written this from the beginning. Okay, so here it is, and it's starting to eject. See right here. Sorry, starting to eject that cold air down the coast and down into the continental U.S. And then watch what it does. It really starts to bring in that cross polar air, and that is the cold that really is going to settle in as we reached about the 23rd, 24th, that's 17th. So yeah, so right about that time frame that I said. Now look at that. That's a pretty dynamic look. So, and you can just see they pinwheel, and it's just one system after another. So if I'm looking at this correctly, I think I am. What you're looking for is not the specifics of a negative NAO and all that stuff. You've got that. What you're looking at is a trend. What we're looking at is a very strong likelihood that eventually the cold air is really going to be coming in, and that's going to increase the possibility and probability of additional wintry precipitation. And that's just basic climatology. So this time frame that I have right here really is the time frame I'm looking at as to a very active and very cold wintry period. So that's it for me. I'll be with you all next week, and we'll see what the weather brings. Brandon Doherty, Delaware Weather Guy, saying adios.